Hey guys, I'm Vivek. Welcome to my channel. I hope you all are doing good. Today I'm here to talk about Sensionics and I'll be presenting my due diligence on Sensionics and then we'll be looking into the price action. Before starting the discussion, I would request you to please like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell icon to receive notification. Please continue your support to my channel. So let us get into the due diligence. Now Sensionic has an interesting product which is called as Eversense. Now Eversense is a continuous glucose monitoring system. Now what is a glucose monitoring system? A continuous glucose monitoring system is a device which has a transmitter and has a needle. But this particular needle is not inserted deep into the blood vessel, but it is just below the skin in the interstitial fluid. Now in the traditional approach, what happens is we take a prick. From that prick, whatever blood oozes out, that blood is used to record the glucose level in the blood. That means it is the direct measurement of the glucose which is present in the blood. However, in continuous glucose monitoring system or devices, what happens is the glucose which is present in the blood comes out of the blood into the interstitial fluid, and whatever glucose is present in the interstitial fluid, that is recorded by this particular system, and this transmitter is used to transfer that data to a mobile application or another recorder which gives out the reading. So continuous glucose monitoring doesn't record the glucose in the blood, but it records the glucose which is present in the interstitial fluid. And that is the reason it is very important to understand what is the relative difference that is present between the blood glucose and the interstitial fluid. Now I am on the clinicaltrials.gov site and we can see that there is a study which is called as PROMISE study, which is an evaluation of an implantable continuous glucose sensor up to 180 days, and that study is called as PROMISE study, and this particular study is conducted by Sensionics. Now we can see that the study is completed. The purpose of this particular clinical investigation is to evaluate the accuracy of Eversense glucose monitoring system, that is Eversense 180 CGM. 180 here stands for 180 days measurement when compared with reference standard measurement up to 180 days of the sensor use. Now let us check the number of participants that were involved. There were 181 participants in this particular group. Now let us look into the data of this particular study. Now in this particular study, what were the results were presented for both the primary sensors and for a secondary sensor with modified chemistry. Now that is referred as the SBA sensor. So in this particular study, what was recorded was a mean absolute relative difference. Now this mean absolute relative difference means the difference between the glucose which is present in the blood versus the glucose that is present in the interstitial fluid recorded by this particular continuous glucose monitoring system or Eversense. And with the old sensor or the primary sensor, the data was around 9.1%. Any value which is under 10% is considered to be promising. So with the primary sensor, it was 9.8, 9.1%, and with the modified sensor, it was 8.5%. It is extremely important to understand whether this particular device works in the lower glucose level as well as the higher glucose level. And we can see that, and across the range, we can check that the agreement rate was 93% for the primary sensor and almost 94% for the modified sensor. In the hypoglycemic range, that is when the glucose level is low, that is 40 to 60 and 61 to 80, in that range, the agreement rate was 89.4 and 92.2 for the primary sensor. However, for the modified sensor, it was 97%, and the hypoglycemic rate detection was 93% for the primary sensor and 94% for the secondary sensor. There were no serious adverse event. However, in 1.1% of the patient, there was mild infection at the procedure site. That is, out of 100 patients, Eversense already has an FDA approved 90-day system. And let us look into the data of the 90-day system. The data for the 90-day system was there were 205 patients involved, and we can check that the mean difference was 11.44%. So that means the new device which has come into the market is having better results as compared to the older device. Now let us check the short interest data. We can see that as per market beat on 14th May 2021, the percentage of shares which were shorted were around 17%. So let us go and check the price action. Let us understand the price action. Now I'm on the tradingview.com and we are looking into the daily time interval. Now we can see that Senseonic had a downtrend which it has broken recently, and a very strong support for Senseonic is 1.86 and 2.49. Now I am on the 4-hour time interval. Now this huge spike in the price clearly indicates that the data is extremely promising, and investors are expecting that the approval for the 180-day device might happen anytime soon. So now talking about the support, in my opinion, this 2.49 will act as a very strong support with the promising data and with the way the price action has happened after today's closing. Now, what are the levels that we can see in future? Now, as we see that 2.49 level has been easily breached, it won't be a surprise if the price of 3.29 is breached and we see a price of 3.79 tomorrow. Now, what is a good entry? In my opinion, a very good entry in Senseonics was $2. It is important to see where it is going to take support, whether it is going to take support at 2.49, whether it is going to take support at 3.29 or 3.79. Now I feel that 2.49 will act as a very strong support for Senseonics. And if somebody plans to enter Senseonics at the current and a price target of 3.29, then he should put a stop loss of 2.49. And in that scenario, the risk to reward ratio would be around 2.43, which is a good risk to reward ratio. In future, we may see the levels of 3.79, 4.24, 5.6 if the volume starts coming in Senseonics. Now the question is, will the volume come in Senseonics? Now we can see that over the past few days, volume has started to come in Senseonics, and this is a very positive sign. And if the volume continues to increase and stay in Senseonics, then we can see these resistance of 3.29, 3.79, 4.24 and other breach with ease. That's all the discussion that I wanted to have about Senseonics. Before signing out, I would like to make a disclaimer that I am not a financial advisor and the discussion on this video is for training and educational purpose. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.